What is neuroplasticity? So this is something that you've all seen in a variety of our classrooms, in a variety of our trainings. We talk a lot about neuroplasticity, but what it actually is. I'm Javi Kayut, neuroscience researcher, yoga teacher, and health enthusiast. And today we're going to talk about this very crucial point inside the idea of aging well, that is neuroplasticity. That is very interesting because most people, and actually most research up to the 2000s, they actually thought that the brain was not a living structure in the sense that it would continue to adapt throughout its existence. We had this idea that the brain would, at one point, just like the body, stop its evolution, stop its development, stop its growing. But in fact, nowadays we know that this is not how things happen. So now we know that the brain is not a fixed structure. It's a constantly evolving structure that is actually super influenced by our overall input and the data we bring to it. And neuroplasticity is our capacity to enhance neural connections, to actually give more power to some circuits and take the overall engagement from some circuits that are not being used. So this is something that you got to understand very clearly, that neuroplasticity is both the creation of connections that are positive for you and also how the brain deprives from engaging with certain circuits that are no longer needed for that system to continue to thrive. The changes, they actually occur in a variety of different layers, from the strength of the synapses involved in the processes that are changing to how it changes your sensory and motor maps in the body. So the changes can be happening on a variety of different levels inside your nervous system. Those changes, most of them, they actually come from overall input, from the environment, from movement, from thoughts. So you see that all of those things influence the way that the nervous system is constantly shaping itself. And the brain adapts to both deprivation and stimulation. So when you stop giving to your brain stimulus, and in my view, what we work with, it's joint stimulus. When you stop giving to your brain overall joint mobility, the brain starts to map out that area and it starts to flare up in a sense. It starts to tell your system that going into that specific range of movement is no longer safe. And then your system places a hold on that specific movement. And then what do you think that happens? Pain. You feel pain. Chronic pain, most of the time, is not actual damage to the tissue, but is this neurological connection to the area that fires painful signals, even when it's not in harm. So this is why it's so important for you to understand why this sort of idea of working through the joints work, because both in a safe, controlled environment, you're able to go into the joint to regain mobility, to touch movements that once were gone, and you have the brain responding proactively because of it. Because it remaps, it creates a better connection to the area, and then it understands also about end range movement, control, things that are highly important for you to be just a functional human being. And the brain needs stimulus. The brain needs challenges, because if it doesn't receive the right challenge, the right stimulus, then it starts to lock itself under the same circuits and under the same pattern of doing things. And when that happens, you have a brain that is built on top of a body that is also built on patterns. And then you have one thing reinforcing the other. This is why we need to have both brain and body being shown to better, more broad experiences. We see that through working with the body, through working with our joints, we're constantly able to provide that to our nervous system and to our body. When you work with this logic that begins in the joint, then you're able to every day keep updating your internal map and keep your brain healthy throughout the lifetime. Movement is one of the richest sources of neurostimulation for the brain. You will see that only through movement we're able to engage with such a vast variety of different stimulus. There are positives for your brain and for your body. So let's give it an example, like yoga class. You lay down on the floor, you close your eyes, When you do that, you're already giving to your brain a completely different map to work from. You don't have your eyes, you don't have one of the single points that generate the most anticipation in the world for all of us. It's the things that we see. You close your eyes, your body and your brain, they get a lot more connected, because then the brain needs to understand how the body is solely from feeling, and this already changes things. Then on top of that, you have the mechanical input, the movement itself from the joints. You have the feeling, the sensory information that will come from your feet on the floor, from your hands on the floor, from wherever you're touching. So this is why movement is so rich. It provides an amazing amount of different stimulus for your brain to keep healthy. So the brain we'll have tomorrow depends on the experiences we'll bring to the body today. This is why it's so important for us to understand neuroplasticity. It can be positive, it can be negative, because it will provide to you exactly what you're stimulating your system to have. And thank you so much once again for being with me. I'm Javi Kayud. Hope you have a great day and see you in the next video.